Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into how to easily create an event registration page on your WordPress website. We'll be checking out this awesome blog post from Now Technology Systems, their web design company, from Australia. And let me tell you, they make this sound as easy as pie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a really well-made registration page can really make a difference for your whole event.
I know, right? They even say that managing an event without a dedicated registration page is like trying to organize an emu parade.
Haha. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Total chaos. So for anyone out there who may be new to WordPress, can you explain exactly what a plugin is and why we would even need one for this?
So basically, a plugin is just like a little app that gives your WordPress website extra features, kind of like apps on your phone. And in this case, we're talking about a plugin that helps you create and manage those event registrations. And Now Technology Systems recommends this plugin called WP Forms.
Okay, WP Forms, got it. But why this one? There are so many plugins out there.
Well, first of all, it's really user-friendly, which is great for anyone who might not be super techy. Also, it's affordable. And it's got all those key features like form building and even payments, which is super convenient.
Wait, payment integration? So that means if I'm hosting a paid event, I can handle it all right there on my website.
Exactly. It streamlines everything.
Okay.
Super convenient for both you and the people attending. You can even choose from all the popular payment gateways like PayPal or Stripe.
Wow, okay, that's already pretty amazing. So we've got WP Forms. We know why it's awesome, but how do we actually get it on our website? Do I need to be a coding whiz or something?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Installing a plugin is actually surprisingly simple, even if you aren't a tech expert. You just go into your WordPress admin panel, which is like the control center for your site, go to Plugins, then Add New, and search for WP Forms. Click Install, and then activate it, and you're good to go.
See, that doesn't sound too bad. I'll admit, though, even for someone who likes to think they are pretty tech-savvy, sometimes those admin panels can feel like a bit of a maze.
I know what you mean.
It's good to know it's not as complicated as it might seem at first glance. So let's say we've installed WP Forms successfully. What do we do next? How do we actually build the registration page?
Well, this is where the fun begins. WP Forms has this really intuitive drag-and-drop interface. So creating your form is super easy. You can add fields for all the standard stuff like names, email addresses, but you can also add in other things like dietary preferences, which I thought was a nice touch.
Wait, dietary preferences? That's brilliant. I never would have thought of that.
It's the little details that can make a big difference in making sure your attendees have a good experience, especially if they have specific dietary needs.
You're so right. You want to make sure they feel welcome from the moment they register. So how does that work? Is it just a little checkbox or something?
Yeah, you can do a checkbox, a drop-down menu, even a text field where they can type in exactly what they need. It's really up to you how much detail you want to get. And the best part is you can customize the fields however you need to. You can even make certain fields required so you are guaranteed to get that essential information.
Okay, this is starting to feel less like an emu parade and more like a well-choreographed dance. But what about the money part? We talked about payment integration earlier, but I'd love to know more about that. What are the options and how secure is the whole thing?
That's a great question. Security is definitely a top priority when it comes to handling payments online. As I mentioned before, WP Forms works with really trusted payment gateways like PayPal and Stripe. And both of those are known for being super secure. They use encryption and all sorts of fraud detection tools to make sure that sensitive information is protected, so both you and the people attending can feel confident about the transaction.
That's good to hear. Okay, so let's say we've got this fantastic registration form. We've got our payment options figured out. How do we actually get this masterpiece onto our website? Is it simple, like copy and paste, or is there some secret WordPress handshake I need to learn?
Thankfully, it's much simpler than a secret handshake. Basically, you create a new page on your WordPress website, or you edit an existing one, wherever you want your registration form to live. Then you use this feature in the page editor where you can just insert a WP Forms form. Just choose your registration form from a drop-down menu and bam, it's right there on the page.
So we're talking just a few clicks, no coding marathons, phew. But before we hit that publish button, is there anything else we should do just to make sure that everything is running smoothly?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's always a good idea to preview the page before you publish it. Just double check that everything looks polished and professional.
Good point. It's like getting dressed up for a big event. You want to make sure you look your best.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to have any wardrobe malfunctions with your website.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've previewed it. We've made any changes we need to. We're feeling good. Hit that publish button. But then what happens? After someone registers on our website, Where does all that information go? Am I going to be sifting through emails, or is there a better system?
You definitely don't want to be drowning in emails. That's one of the things that makes WP Forms so great. It handles all that data management for you. All the registration info goes right into your WordPress dashboard.
Oh, hold on, the WordPress dashboard, that's where I do like all the blog posts and managing the website stuff, right?
Yep, that's the one.
So I can see all the registration info right there with everything else.
Exactly. It's all in one place. Makes it so much easier to manage your event. You can see who registered all their info, any special requests, even tracked payments if it's a paid event.
Okay, that centralized system is sounding pretty good. No more scrambling, trying to remember who wanted the gluten-free meal. It's all right there. So someone's registered. Everything's looking good in the dashboard. What next? Do I just wait for the event? Or is there something I should be doing to keep those attendees engaged?
That is a fantastic question. And this is where now technology systems really nails it. They go beyond just the technical setup and talk about how important communication is. You don't want to leave those attendees hanging after they register. Got to keep the excitement going.
Yeah, it's like planning a party. You wouldn't just send the invitations and then go silent. Maybe send some reminders, share some sneak peeks of the decorations, maybe even drop a hint about a surprise guest to get everyone buzzing.
Exactly. If you keep people in the loop, it builds anticipation for the event.
Right. It shows that you're invested in making it a great experience and keeps it top of mind for the attendees. So what are some ways to actually do that? What kind of communication are we talking about?
Well, the first thing is send a confirmation email as soon as someone registers. It's a small thing, but it makes people feel welcome. Then you can send updates about the event, like exciting new speaker announcements, any logistics they need to know.
Okay, confirmation email updates, got it. Anything else?
Don't forget about reminders as it gets closer to the event. People get busy. A little nudge can be really helpful. And depending on what kind of event it is, you can even send like sneak peeks behind the scenes stuff. Maybe a message from one of the speakers.
Oh, I love that. Give them a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah.
It all goes back to building that community we talked about, making people feel like they're part of something special.
Exactly. You're not just hosting an event, you're creating an experience.
Okay, so we've got this amazing registration page, managing everything smoothly in the dashboard. We're rocking the communication. Is there anything else we should be thinking about to make this whole process even better? Any secret optimization tips we should know about?
Now, technology systems actually give some really great tips about this. And they're pretty simple, but really effective.
Okay, I'm all ears. What kind of tips?
Well, they really emphasize mobile optimization.
Makes sense. Everyone's on their phones these days.
Exactly. You want to make sure your registration page looks good and works well on any device.
Right. Don't want people struggling to read tiny text or click buttons on their phone. Mobile optimization is a must. What else?
Clear calls to action are super important too. You want to make it super obvious what you want people to do. Register for the event.
So instead of just having a boring submit button, we could say something more exciting like join the fun or reserve your spot now.
Exactly. Make it action-oriented and fun. And they also mentioned data protection and privacy regulations. Especially being in Australia.
Which is super important wherever you are in the world. You've got to make sure you're handling personal information responsibly. So we've gone from feeling like we're wrangling emus to having this smooth, efficient, even enjoyable system for event registration.
It's amazing how a few simple tools and strategies can totally change the game.
It really is. And I think the thing that stands out to me the most is that we're not just talking about the technical steps here. We're talking about creating a positive experience for everyone who attends, right from the moment they land on the registration page.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
It's like we've uncovered this whole other level of strategy behind event planning. But before we wrap things up, I have one more question. We've talked a lot about like the practical side of registration, the forms, the payments, the logistics. But what about the emotional side?
Oh, that's interesting.
How can we use the registration page to not just collect information, but to also like build anticipation, excitement, even a little bit of mystery?
It's like creating a movie trailer. You want to give people just enough to get them interested, but without revealing the whole story.
I love that analogy. So how would we do that on a registration page? What are some things we can actually do?
Think about visuals, compelling copywriting, even interactive elements to create an experience that's more than just filling out a form.
Okay, so instead of just having a plain page with a form, we could have some cool graphics, maybe a short video that highlights the main themes of the event.
Exactly. And the language you use is important too. Instead of just saying, register now, You could create a sense of urgency with phrases like limited spots available or join the movement.
Oh, I like that. Make it feel
Uh,
exclusive.
yeah, like they're part of something special.
Are there any other elements we could add?
You could have a countdown timer to the event to build that anticipation, or showcase testimonials from past attendees. Show potential attendees what they can expect.
Those are great ideas. And maybe even include a little surprise for early registrants. Something to reward them for signing up early.
That's a great idea. It incentivizes early registrations and builds excitement. The key is to think beyond just the function and tap into that emotional side of event planning.
So when we're creating our registration page, we should be thinking, how can we make this more engaging, more memorable, more aligned with the feeling of our event?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to can creative experiment. Let your personality shine through. Planning an event should be fun for both you and the people attending.
That's such a good point. So to wrap up this amazing deep dive into event registration, we've explored not just the technical steps, but also the strategic thinking and the emotional intelligence that goes into creating a really successful registration experience.
We've seen how powerful a well-made registration page can be. Streamline your workflow, build excitement, create a sense of community, and ultimately help your event be successful.
It's been an awesome journey. I feel like I've learned so much. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to see people excited about events and finding new ways to connect with their audience.
So for everyone listening, as you start planning your own events, remember what we've talked about today. Choose the right tools, think strategically, communicate effectively, and don't be afraid to add a little bit of magic and personality.
And most importantly, have fun. When you're passionate about your event, that energy will show through in every part of the experience, from the registration page to the very end.
That's so true. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep those creative sparks flying.